Hi, I'm Shelly Nelson. I'm independent consultant and executive national vice president with Arbonne. And I just want to take a few minutes to share with you some of the things that I've learned about personal development. I think that all of us, well, I know all of us have grown personally without us even being intentional. That's our parents putting us in school, right? Teaching us new skills, teaching us new things, helping us to learn to connect with new people. And sometimes it's through the school of hard knocks, but we continue to learn and grow. I think a newborn baby, you might even keep them like small and cuddly, and they're learning new skills by stretching and crawling across the floor. And I mean, they're learning to eat, they're learning to talk, they're constantly learning and growing. And so we need to kind of develop that same habit. Is to keep growing and developing, except when we get to be our age and we've learned all the main skills, now we need to start learning like how to be intentional and how to even know what to do to be growing in, right? So John Maxwell said a few things. He said, "Nothing is great until a life has been changed." You know, we're known for saying awesome. I know that there's so many husbands that make a comment that's like incredible or awesome. That's the word I hear all the time, which is true. We get excited about things that are coming our way with Arbonne, but I think we need to learn to get excited about the opportunity we have before us. And I think we also need to become people who are not going to just hold it in our hands and let it rot there. We need to begin to pour into it. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the parable of the stewards, but there was a master who went away, and before he did, he gave exact same bag of money to each different steward, his servant. The first one was afraid that his master would be harsh if he did something with it and lost it. So he buried it in the ground. The second one began to invest, and he actually had a return. And the third one just really put that money to work. And when they got back, the master, asked them, "How did you do with what I gave you?" And the one was like, "Oh, I was so afraid of you that I buried it in the ground." Well, he's like, "You wicked servant, like that's not what I told you to do. I told you to increase it." The second one increased it, and he's like, "Good job." And the top one just really put it to work, took some risks, and I just think, and he had like tenfold increase with it, and the master was really excited about it. You guys, I think once we've been given an opportunity like this, we don't want to hold it. We don't want to we want to be a good steward with it and do our very best and take care of it. And so part of that is us being that life that's going to be changed, right? I want to read a couple little things that I learned from John Maxwell and that I wrote down. One of the things that I can pass on to you, and I know this to be true for myself, but also for people I've coached, is you can take years off of your learning curve if you will learn to be coachable. I'll tell you what, I think that people tend to wear this chip on their shoulder, or they have this spirit of, like they take criticism so harshly, like it destroys them. You guys, that's not the way we want to be. I think we need to also remember that we can't trust our future to our memory, but we need to learn to take notes so that we can learn new things constantly. We have to practice the slight edge philosophy, which is reading 10 pages a day, and everyone can do that, and we need to listen to training tapes. Those are learning from the masters, right? Consistency on a daily basis is how you're going to become successful, not by just hit and miss here and there. It's really that consistent practice. I have worked out with a personal trainer, and I have worked out hit and miss. When I get results, it's because I'm not doing hit and miss. It means I'm consistent. I'm doing something day after day. I've watched, but my husband has been running like 3 miles a day, and I've watched him increase, and he's been on the treadmill, and he's increased his elevation to 6%, and his speed, and he's just continuing to get better. But that wasn't an overnight thing. That was a continual practice and process, and learning new technique of how to do that. Here's the other thing that I just want to share, you guys, that maturity doesn't always accompany growth. And we know that just by looking around us, and we see some of these old hippies, and we think, really? Like, are you going to grow up someday and move forward and actually be an influence to people? Growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to get better, you guys. We're not going to be able to have anything different unless we begin to do things differently. Like, ask yourself, over the last 5 years, what did you change? And if it wasn't a lot, then you either got worse or you didn't move forward. And the same thing with our Arbonne business. If you've even done 6 months and there's been no growth and no change, that means you need to change something. And if you're at here and you need to get to here, you need to learn new practices, new skills, deeper understanding, not even more time energy as much as being efficient of what you're learning and what you're doing. So how do you grow personally? You have to be intentional. You have to be aware of where you even need to grow. And part of that can be just by looking in the mirror. Because that's one thing I've said is I have hit myself face to face in the mirror month after month, day after day, and it's still me trying to do these things, and I get frustrated and finally sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that's when I finally will make change. And I bet you guys are similar. So we see we're not getting bookings. We need to change our verbiage. We got to change something. Something's not right. If we're not having great sales, we need to increase our belief and need to use these products, because what's not to love with Arbonne's products, right? We need to understand the law of the lid, that if we want to raise a team that's up to here, we need to first get to up to here, because you can only take your team as high as you're going to go. That's with your connecting, with your speaking, with your time organizing, with your family, like anything. So you guys connect with people who are leaders and can truly be mentors, and that can help you with things that you want to accomplish. Like, I'm not going to somebody who's got a messed up marriage to ask for marriage help. I'm not going to somebody who's got a messed up kids who do not know self-control or are not learning how to be disciplined or, behaved. I'm not going to them to ask them those things. I'm not even probably going to ask, if somebody, like, I wouldn't have asked some certain relatives how to organize and clean a house. I could ask my mother because she knew how to do that well. I'm not going to go to somebody who eats Twinkies and chips all day on how to have healthy living. I'm going to go to somebody who practices those things. So that's what we need to do, is connect with people who can help us. And that's what personal development is all about. It's picking up a book with somebody who is an expert in an area and that can pass on their skills to us. Every time you open a book, it's like you're sitting at the feet of a mentor, and you are taking time and you are gleaning these new ideas, new skills, and you can begin to implement them into yourself. I think that we can get something almost out every single book out there. I think there's some things I don't agree with, but there's a lot of things that I do. There's some books I like some of it, and some I don't, and I just don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. What I want to encourage you to do is become in a habit of reading 10 pages a day minimum. I want you to get in a habit of listening to training tapes. We have Learn and Burns. I even think go out and get like Dr. Tom Barrett's Demystifying Success. I think Eric Worre's, I can't remember the name of it, Eric Worre's book on, or his tape on network marketing. I think Leadership Mastermind that a whole bunch of leaders put together. I think we can learn from Stephen Covey, the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I think we can learn Today Matters and learn how to prioritize and see what really is important from John Maxwell. I think we can learn about network marketing from Dr. Tom Barrett in his 2 books, Success Happens and Dare to Dream, Work to Win. Dare to Dream, Work to Win was what I'd be doing first. And then success happens after I understood more things. I think we need to learn how to develop our vision and keep feeding our vision. That's Visioneering by Andy Stanley. I think we need to learn to set up boundaries in our life. Guardrails. What are guardrails for? Think about it. I don't want to go off the cliff. So how do I keep my life in balance? I have guardrails. I put up boundaries. I think we need to learn how to look at our calendar and learn how to evaluate and make sure we're spending time where we need to. There's so many things we can continue to learn, but we want to focus on learning how to schedule, learning how to sell, learning how to sponsor, learning how to stay connected and service people. We want to learn how to self-develop. So hook up with your upline, stay connected with them, keep looking in the mirror and asking yourself, how can I get better? And what do I want to get better with? And enjoy the journey. Don't be a journey that you're sitting still, but enjoy the journey. That means there's actually scenery that's going by your window, and it's not the same scenery. We don't want to be like, I remember my dad on a vacation one time we were going in town and we got lost going in town, and we kept going by the same Capitol building and these two nuns that were walking. And we go, and my dad would be like, doggone it, there's that Capitol building. I'm like, yep, and there's the nuns again. And we kept going around like 3 or 4 times. We were not on a journey. We were lost. And so make sure the scenery is passing by you, you guys. Enjoy it at the same time. Be hungry to keep being mentored by other people, and then be willing to mentor other people from everything that you learn. So thanks for listening.